Good morning, you lot. How you all doing? Hope you're all fine and dandy as always. This is the Kyosho Pure 10 Alpha. I took this out the other day. You may or may not have seen the video. The front, something happened to the front diff somewhere because we lost front wheel drive. But other than that, the steering's a bit dicky. If you turn right and let go of the steering wheel, it stays going right. But if you turn left and let go, it goes back to straight. So something's a bit dicky going on with that. I've got other servos, I can always change for a new servo. But we're not looking at this today. We're going to have a look at the old Savage. Because the Savage, well, there's a story that goes with the Savage. And I'm just cooking a bit of a stir fry at the same time. So, the Savage 21. The last time I ran this, she was a little bit ropey to say the least. Now, there was loads of speculation in the comments, but some of you don't know the full story about this engine. This is a K4.6. And you know, it's not had a hard life, but it's had a life. It's been drowned in numerous different puddles. I think I can remember 3 where it actually drowned properly. I don't think I ever filmed any of them, but I did film a video where it was hydrolocked because it had drowned in a puddle, and I got all the water out of it and got it started up again. Now, no, I did not ever take this engine apart and never rebuilt it and never even took it apart. There's no point in taking things apart. You only ever take something apart if it's broken, in my opinion. I know some of you like to take things apart just because, well, you feel like it's on the safe side, but nah, that's not me. If it didn't start, or if it had locked up, or bent a rod, or broken a bearing, or snapped a crank, done something like that, I would have taken it apart to repair it. But I managed to get the water out of it every single time, and yes, every time it did hydrolock. And it was stuck until I took the plug out and got the water out. And then I ran it to get any more water out the crank and, you know, evaporate anything. It's probably full of rust in there, but it's fine, don't worry about it. But the trouble is, I've never taken the carb off and cleaned the carb out. Now, I'm pretty much certain that the air leak that we were encountering, because we was encountering somewhat of an air leak the last time I ran this, because it'd run alright and then it'd go a bit lean, and then it'd go right, and then it'd go lean again, and then it'd be alright. And no, it's most definitely not due to the myth of the half tank lean rubbish that seems to happen on some people's, but never to me. The problem is probably around the base of the carb where you see somewhat of the dirt. That is most of the problem, I would imagine. There would be some sort of air leak getting in around there. So I'm going to take the carb off, and we're going to have a look at the carb, and we're going to clean it out, and then we're going to see what happens and see if we find any issues around there. The other problem could be the head bolts could be slightly loose, but I don't think they are, but I'll check them anyway. I'm not going to bother taking the head off. I might take it off just to show you the piston and what that looks like in there. But this was drowned twice in clean water, where it fell in a pond, relatively clean water, sucked a load in, hydrolocked. The last time it was drowned was a very, very dirty, muddy puddle. It sucked some in, the air filter was drenched, it was all squidgy and wet, sucked a bit in. Don't take a lot to hydrolock a little nitro engine, a little bit of water and that'll hydrolock a nitro engine. It takes a lot more to hydrolock a real size engine, a full size engine, but for a little nitro engine, it doesn't take a lot at all to hydrolock one of those. So, yeah, it's, you know, it's not perfect, but I don't want it to be perfect. So, let's take the carb off and see what we find. Oh, she's sizzling away nicely in there, look. We've got some peas, peppers, chicken, rice, sizzling away nicely there. Because everything's so expensive at the moment, I just use one of these little cookers, little gas bottles. A lot better. Oh, can't wait for that. But also, can't wait to see what's going on here. So, let's get the old air gun out and blow off some of the dirt from the carb. Oh, man, let's stabilise you a little bit better. Can you see much? I think you can see enough, can't you? Yeah, you should better see there. That should be no problem. Let's all we have to do in order to take off the carb, we'll get rid of this pipe, and all we have to do is look for the bolt. Now the bolt is on the other side, of course it is, around there like that. There's a bolt in there. I might have to take off tank so that I can get to said bolt. Let me give this a little bit of a stir. I know I'm using a metal fork on a non-stick frying pan, but that frying pan's at it anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. It's not exactly non-stick anymore. It's many years old, and it's so expensive these days. I wouldn't bother getting a new one, you know. So let's take off this tank and get that out of the way. And now we can see in there's a little bolt. Now, I don't know what size it is. It is not that one, so it's not 2.5. So it must be 3mm. No, it's not. It's not 3mm. Where's it then? Did that go in or not? That did go in. Is the bolt even in there? I don't even know if that bolt's in there, you know. It's not even on that side, is it? It's on this side. It's, what is that one? 3mm, 1.5, let's try 2. Right, we undo that little bolt there. Now what that does, that will loosen the carb. That's the little bolt that holds the carb on. Now we can take that off of there, take the air filter off, like that, disconnect the throttle, and we should be able to wiggle that carb free. I'm just going to eat my stir fry. Tell you what, this is good. If ever you feel a bit peckish, you can never go wrong with a stir fry, that's for sure. So you've all heard me talk about Luke's RC shop before. There's a current discount code on there, Haggard RC, and that'll get you 10% off everything on the shop. But on top of that, I've teamed up with Luke's RC shop, and we're going to be doing a giveaway. There's going to be you'll get a free Nitro mystery box worth £20, and all you have to do is go over to Luke's RC shop and use the discount code Haggard RC. You can buy anything from the shop. Make sure you use the discount code, and everybody that uses the discount code by the end of July will be entered into, into a hat, and a random name will be pulled out, and you'll win a free £20 mystery box. So that's everybody who's used the discount code Haggard RC in Luke's RC shop by the 31st of July will potentially win a free £20 mystery box. So all I can say, you lot, is go over there and have a look and see what you might fancy. And also, in the special instructions, if you've got a YouTube name that's different from your real name, put your YouTube name in the special instructions little box there when you buy something, because I'll be checking that, and if that person who wins is also subscribed to my channel, you'll get a little something extra when you receive your free mystery box. Thanks, you lot. Anyway, right, I've still got some more to eat, but I'll do this while I'm eating it. So I should now just be able to wiggle the carb off. And there we go, we have a carb with a little O-ring on it. So this is what we're interested in, the carburettor. Let me see if I can get a light, and I'll show you down inside there, and you can see the extent of rust or no rust. Because I know a lot of you panic over things, so I'd just like to show you. So down in there, you see this engine has been drowned several times. There's some surface rust down in there, whether you can see that or not, a little bit, but all engines will have some amount of rust, because if if I can turn it so that, hold on, right, typical, bloody typical. Right, that's the bottom of the crank, as you can see there. Hopefully, if this camera will ever focus on it, there is no rust on there. The rust is primarily inside, but it's not a problem. Not a problem at all. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, but it's not a problem. All nitro engines will have rust. There's a small amount of water in the nitro fuel, and also it sucks in small amounts of water through the air filter because air has got water in it. It's just one of them things you do not need to worry about. This engine has been drowned several times. Water has been in there, filled up with water, as if, you know, there's been water filled that up where I tipped it upside down and it all ran out, you know, several times, and it's fine. So you don't need to panic, you don't need to worry. Let's have a look, see what's going on with this carburetor then. Might need a new O-ring. That might be why it wasn't sealing properly. Let me zoomerage you in. I'm working on getting some better lights for here so you can see stuff better, but it's all a process which is very slow at the moment. So what have we got for cleaning purposes? Got a little bit here of this brake disc cleaner. I'll get rid of this first. So let me see, this is the carb as is. Got my hairband that I nicked from my daughter to hold on the throttle close, because if you don't have that, the idea of having, you can get springs that go across, or you can use elastic bands or hair bands in my case, anything like that, because if your throttle linkage comes off, right, it's the servo and the throttle linkage what keeps it shut while you're driving around, right? But if that little linkage pops off, as they do sometimes, especially if they're worn, so that pops off, no amount of input from you will be able to stop it. You can put the brakes on the car, but if the engine is powerful enough to overcome the brakes, it'll still run away and you'll have to run after it. And even if you put the brakes on, the engine will still be revving because it'll be doing its own thing, because there's no linkage. So you can have a fail-safe, but that won't do anything, because the fail-safe will be putting the brakes on and effectively putting it into tick-over, but because the linkage is not connected to the carburetor, it won't be doing anything. The linkage will be going over here somewhere, and the throttle will still be doing its thing. So it could get stuck half throttle like it is there. It's unlikely that it will get stuck open like that, because I mean, look, it pings itself back in. But that's still half throttle, look. Can you see that? That's full throttle. Oh, the linkage just popped off. Down to half throttle. So it's still going to be zipping off somewhere. So it's good just to have something tied around there, which then if the linkage pops off, it holds it in the tick over position. No problems. So let's have a quick look before I start cleaning it. This is the little rubber O-ring that we've got here. There is also another one there, which goes on and seats around there. That looks a bit flat to me. Looks like it's, you know, it's not very proud on there. This one, again, it's a bit squashed. It's by far not the best. So I reckon we've found the source of our air leak. K85A. So let's give it a little bit of a clean up. We'll clean the outside. Obviously cleaning the outside is not going to affect the way that it works, but I'm going to clean the outside so that we run little the risk of actually getting anything inside and blocking up even further. Let me just go and get a small toothbrush and have a few more mouthfuls of my stir fry. This is my wife's toothbrush. I'm sure she won't notice. And even if she did, she won't mind. She finds it sexy when I use her things for different stuff. Right, let's give that a bit of a clean. Now there's very little chance now. I'm fully aware that I'm getting brake cleaner on the rubbers, on that rubber there, fully aware. The question you've got to ask yourself is, does he care? And the answer to that question is no. No, I don't. No, not in the slightest. Right. So, there we go. We have now a much cleaner on the outside carburetor. You're probably asking, how on earth now do you clean the inside of it? Well, let me tell you. What we need to do, I'm going to get a bit of a spanner and undo that there. So, bear with me. Should have got that earlier, but I didn't. So, got myself a spannering device. This particular one is 7mm. 7mm. So, that appears to fit on here somewhat nicely. So, we can undo that like that. And that now will unscrew from there. This is the high-speed needle, as some of you may or may not know. And we know that it was working because the engine was running, so there is no blockage, but there might be somewhat of a blockage. Just a mini one, like a small mini blockage. I mean, you just don't know, do you? So, just for good measure, we blow some brake cleaner down in the end there, and we should see it come out of the other holes. Like that. And it should work the opposite way around as well. You can't see. There we go. We know that this one is clean. We can also blow down it. There is definitely no blockages in there. Now I know that I wasn't suspecting a blockage as the problem. The problem is most definitely an air leak around the base of the carb where it's sucking in air. But there's no harm in taking it all apart and giving it a blow through. We can see through there. If we ever get any type of focusing on this cameraing device, bloody Jesus, come on. Oh, there we go. You can see that is completely clear. Just going to have a mouthful of stir fry. Hold on. That is a good stir fry. Right. Put that there. Not that there. Now we can clean. This is the mid-range needle, the mid-speed needle. I'm not going to take this out in this instance because we know that it was working fine. There's no issues there with it. You may be able to see, or may not, depending. The needle goes in a little hole there where the fuel goes through there. At one point this fell out. I was zipping around the park one day and all of a sudden I noticed it started to run slightly lean. I thought to myself, bloody blimey, what's that all about? Had a look. That was gone completely. Fallen out. Gone. Because when the little rubber O-rings start to perish, there won't be enough resistance on the needle itself to keep it in, and it'll start to unwind itself. Sometimes they go in, but mostly they go out and go plop, and then you lose them. That can happen with your high-speed needle. If the O-ring inside here, which I know I've not taken the needle out, the needle is still in there. I know some of you are probably going to comment that's not the needle, this is just the housing for the needle. I know that. The needle is inside and is with this screw, or you can do it with your thumb. I haven't taken it out on purpose because I don't want to adjust my tuning. There's no need to. There is absolutely no need to do any of that bollocks at the moment. If the engine wasn't running, then there would be. But it is running, so I don't need to. But if the O-ring starts to go, it can be squashed or it can just be perished through old age. It can be loose. And your tuning won't hold. It won't hold a tune because the needle will be moving constantly all the time. And it'll always go rich or go lean, and you'll be like, what the hell's going on? Right, that I'm happy with that. There's no issues there. No need to take that apart. It'd just be a complete waste of time. So let's put this back on. That little washer goes on there. That then goes on there. That goes on there. And we can screw that back down. That was facing in that direction somewhat, like that. Let's get our little 7mm expander. Do that. Just nip it. You don't want to do it too tight. You don't want to squash the little washers. You don't want to strip the threads or anything like that. It just needs to be nipped. That'll be fine. Now we have this questionable washer here. To me, it's, well, to you it's out of focus. To me it wasn't. I don't think I'm going to have a washer that's thin. I've got a washer box, but whether there's any that are that thin, I don't know. Let's get the O-ring box out and have a look. Don't you always find it typical that the thing that you want is always at the back and at the bottom of the cupboard? Anyway, one O-ring box. I highly doubt that there's going to be one small enough in here, because this is designed for real full-size engines and cars and other bits and bobs, not for models. But we may be lucky, because as you can see, there is a very small collection here. So we need one which will serve our purpose perfectly. That one, very close, but I would say there is no cigar there. Let's try this one, but I think this one may be far too thick. That's a very thick O-ring. Let's try this one, slightly thinner. And this will be the one. This, my friends, oh my giddy aunt, the excitement is real. That is the one. I need a screwdriver. Nope, not that one. Not that one, I said. Go back in there. That one was so excited he wouldn't have it. He was like, no, I'm the one. Let's pick this old one out. Once I do this, that's it, the end of the road for it, because I'll be damaging it by getting it out like this. So we better hope ourselves that that one is going to be the one. You lot, well, you lot probably don't care, but I'd better hope that that one is the one. Right. Here is the old O-ring. Here is the potential new O-ring. There we go. Slightly bigger actually. But that actually goes on there wonderfully. Look at that. That is brilliant. Hopefully that should hold a nice seal around there, and it shouldn't pop out when I slide the carb down. Nothing worse than your rubber popping off when you slide it down. So I need, this one is the one that goes around the top here, and what that does is creates a seal around the top. We could replace that one as well, so let's see if we have one that is an adequate size for that as well. Do you know what I might do? I might just use the same one that I've just used on the other bit, because that will go on there. That'll be, look at that. That is perfect. That's lovely. Just need a little bit of lubrication. Should always lubricate rubber. I'll put this one back. Where did this one come from? Was it there? Wasn't there, was it? Was it there? Or was that the old one? No, it wasn't. These were the old ones. Old ones can go in the bin later on. Right, let me just put all this back away again, at the bottom and the back of the cupboard, of course, and then we'll put the old carburetor back on. Will I fire her up? I'll fire her up briefly, although it is a Saturday afternoon. Right, you lot, well, look at that. The old air filter there was not on properly. I'll have to remedy that. Right, so let's put our little bit of hairband back on. What way did I have it? I've forgotten now. Was it around there like that? I think it was, wasn't it? Was it like that? No, it wasn't like that, was it? That was over there like that. I think. Oh dear, I can't remember how I had it now. Let me sort that out, hang on. Right, I don't think that's how I originally had it, but I can't remember now. Anyway, you can see the job that it does. So that is around there like that, and as soon as we, let's just say we're full throttle, meep, all of a sudden, pop, throttle linkage comes off. Oh no, tick over. And we're standing there at the other end of the field going, what the bloody hell's going on? We walk over, oh look, the throttle linkage just popped off. Lovely, pop it back on. Meep, 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 meep. Lovely, sorted. Let's go and get said Savage. Pop this back on and we'll see if it's going to run any better. I've had a bit of an accident. When I took the Savage off of the bench and I put it on the floor, I dropped it from just a little bit of a height, and what happened was the tank had fallen. I had it there, but it fell underneath, and we've actually now I've broken the tank. I've well and truly broken the tank. I mean, properly broken it. We have a great big hole there now. I'm going to try and weld it together, because I'm going to try and plastic weld all of that down there together. I have got another tank, the other one, which is the original tank for this Savage. This is a new one that I bought back in 2008. But no, it probably wasn't even that, probably 2004 or 5. So it's lasted some time, and me being stupid, broken it. But there we go. I'll have to put the other tank on for now, and then I'll have to fix this one. But yeah. So let's get some lubrication. Where is? I've got some grease somewhere. God knows what I've done with it now. Oh, there it is. Silicone grease. Again, feel free to put in comments, attack me, saying that's not the right stuff, you shouldn't be using that. And the answer that I'll give you is, I don't particularly care. All I want is for it to just lubricate it as it slides in. Sliding in lubrication is extremely important, and in my opinion, this won't perish any rubbers to any extent that I actually care about. What will happen is, if these O-rings do perish, then I'll just replace them again. It's not something that you need to overthink. One thing that I will say is, do not use Vaseline. You may like to use Vaseline during other activities that you may encounter in, but using Vaseline to lubricate rubber is not a good idea, because it will perish rubber. Let's put that in there. That hopefully will slide in. Maybe our new O-ring is slightly too big. Right, so you absolutely should never ever hit a carburetor to install it, but I can tell you that this O-ring was too big. So we will, I don't have any that was smaller, I don't think. So I'm going to put this one back on. I'm pretty sure that will be adequate anyway. Put this one back on, and then we'll see, because we've still got the new one at the top. So we'll see what happens, and I will have a closer look. And when I say I will have a better look for another O-ring, I really mean that I won't ever probably have another look for a better O-ring. Put that back in there. Is it fully seated? Looks like it to me. Is it in a good position? Looks like it to me. Do that up. Right. Let's put the old tank on. She is now being reunited with her old tank. This is a monumental moment that we should savour for a very long time. The original tank that she came out of the factory with is now being reinstalled and reunited. Let's put on the pipes, and we can do that. The little washers are already there, that gets to go around that way. How does it feel, eh? How does it feel to have your old tank back? That's what I thought, yeah. She said it feels lovely. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought she'd say. Yeah, I know my savage. I know my savage. That should... Oh, come on. That should go through there. Sorry, you'll have to bear with me. Typical me, does everything cock-handedly. But the question that you have to ask yourself, do things get done? And the answer that you have to receive for that question is yes, things do get done, even if they are somewhat cock-handed. Right, let's put that in there. Lovely. I'm excited to see what is going to happen. I'm making a prediction now that we will see absolutely no difference whatsoever while she's sitting on the bench ticking over, because that wasn't the issue. The issue was when she was running. Hello, getting a phone call. You know what I've gone and done? I've lost a bit of pipe that I had there before, so I've just had to use a random bit. We'll stick some 25% in there. Lovely jubbly. I don't know what was in it before, probably bloody 89% or something. Primage. Let's see what happens. Is she going to run at all? Considering what this engine has been through and what has happened to this engine in the past, you know, being drowned several times, I'd say that runs pretty well. The issue before was ticking over. It would go lean and then conk out and not stay running. Seems to be ticking over fairly well now. Obviously I have to hold the throttle shut a bit. I haven't got my little hairband tight enough, and obviously the radio key is not on. I don't know where the transmitter is. I've lost it somewhere. So yeah, here we go. Unbend our shock. There we go, it's better. Got bent shock there so it stays down sometimes. Nice one. Thanks for watching, you lot. Well, there we go. That was a job well done. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. All the best. And remember, look after each other, look after yourself, and be at peace with your past. Don't let anything in your past ruin your future. Catch you later on. All the best.